Hello guys, welcome to day 2 of the 100k build challenge. We're here again. Gonna do a lot of stuff. Honestly, it is very confusing, but the path will be cleared soon. So in the last episode we just set up the code base, the structure of the files and everything, and today we're gonna start building a component, and that will essentially be the start of this project. Going over the rules again, they are: I have to document everything, I have to only use AI tools, and I cannot give up until I make the $100,000. I'm 15, I have no coding background, and the motivation for this challenge comes from the starter story build. The Pat Walls has invited people to join him on this journey, and I am embarking it with sheer willpower. Hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna learn a lot together. Okay, I'm back on the laptop, and I just wanted to go over what we did on the last episode. So the first thing we did was talk to Sesame, and I told you guys how I brainstormed my idea and came up with the idea, and how I developed the idea into production ready stuff, or how I developed the idea into product requirement documents I can use inside our AI IDE. The AI IDE we will be using is Augment, as I have gone over this before, but I'm using Augment because it's built for high context repositories, and we're going to need a lot of code for this app. We also went over the client memory bank. I will leave the rules I'm using in the description so you guys can see what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. If you want to use this memory bank, you can just copy the rules they're giving you, the client itself. I have added some more stuff, so mine is a little different. As I said, I'll leave it in the description. Also, the idea we have is a David Goggins inspired fitness app that lets you do weekly challenges and get a military badge. So this is kind of like a ranking. So the more you do challenges, the higher your rank is. And I think that will put a challenge between friends maybe, or between people, to use the app, and it's genuinely helping people. And I just want to say something, that this idea, I've come up with this idea because I am struggling with staying on task with fitness and working out. So this will help me. And the other apps I've seen around, they're not really built for this kind of stuff, or they're not personalized enough for me to use them and get the benefit. And the MVP we are gonna build, the minimum viable product, I think, is just gonna be challenges and the badges. Later, we will add fitness tracking, gym workouts or weights if you have access to gym, or you have weights at home, or you're just gonna do calisthenics with body weight. The tech stack we're gonna be using is React Native for the front end, Expo to use the app with my phone and web for testing, and then Node.js for the backend. Also, the database we'll be using is Supabase because it's super easy to set up. Now, this is the project we have right now. We set up this project in the last episode. I set up 4 components I will be working with for the MVP. It's the auth, the challenges, the onboarding, and the profile. These are the only components we will be working on for the MVP, because the rest is just a little confusing to work all of them at the same time. So we will add on to it one by one. It's the same for the front end. Also in our memory bank, I have the product requirement documents for each of these components. Then the context for the AI. If you don't know what a memory bank is, it's just pretty describable by its name. It's just a bank for the memories for your IDE. Doesn't matter if you use Cursor, Klein, whatever. I use Augment because it's, in my opinion, a very strong option, and it's free for early access. So I've been using this for a month or so, and they haven't released the pricing yet, but it's coming soon. User tracking is coming soon. So during early access, we have free access, basically. And I love that, to be honest. And one other feature I really love about this is it has built-in integration with GitHub and Supabase. And these tools that I don't use, if you use them, you can easily connect them and you just log in. But the Supabase connection I did, it was pretty simple, and it acts as a MCP server. I already have an MCP server set up for it right here, but I also set this up because this is built in, and this probably works better. It's more reliable. So now let's get started. So the first prompt I will say is read the memory bank files, all of them, one by one. We will start with the auth component or module with our integrations or implementations, and I want you to know everything about this module in the memory bank as you can. We will focus on the backend this time. So now I will read all the memory bank files I have here for the auth, here auth module.md. I have a PRD for it as well, auth module PRD. Just gonna go ahead, read it all. The context thing I was talking about is this, so it's like Augment context engine. It has a pretty good implementation, and it's pretty reliable with high context repositories. We're going to be working with the backend auth here. It doesn't have any files in it because we haven't set up anything yet. We'll fix the backend or implement the backend here, then we'll move to another chat and implement the front end. Okay, now it's done reading the files and stuff. It says the technology stack, Node.js, TypeScript, Supabase, and Joy validation. I don't even know what that is, but it's in our PRD, so it should be important. Now I will make the sign up, sign in, sign out, reset password for email, update user, on auth state change, and then Supabase client, auth middleware, auth service. This is good. Now, the MCP servers I have set up here are Context 7. It's basically a thing that has the docs for every library out there, and the model or the IDE doesn't matter where you use it. It can easily find up-to-date information about a library using this MCP server. I also have sequential thinking, so now I will tell it to use sequential thinking to implement the auth component module completely. Be specific and what else? Plan it out first. And that's what I wanted to say. You should use sequential thinking to plan it. I'll use sequential thinking to plan and implement the auth module for the backend. Let me break this down into clear steps. There we go. Sequential thinking is pretty strong. Really like it. Okay, looks like it's done with the initial setup of the auth directory. Yes, it says key components, device integration, authentication servers, middleware, API routes. Very nice. Now it says next steps, set up a Super-based project, testing, integration with frontend. So let this happen. Okay, so as you can see, it is working. It took the project key and URL from Superbase and put it in the env file. I had to skip most of it because it would show the project ID and my secret keys, and I don't want to share it with people on YouTube because that will be very bad. This is all some boring stuff at this point, to be honest. I just have to wait and look at it until it works. But at least it works. That's one thing. Okay, I told it to use the sequential thinking again to do all that. Now it's gonna start reading the memory bank files and then come back. So as you can see, let me close the backend one and the front end. It made the SRC folder and all the necessary stuff. Components, screen, comments, navigation, services, store, types, utils. It hasn't made any files yet. Well, it did now. No. Okay, I guess we should just wait for it. What? Oh no. Come on, bro. This guy made a whole new directory here. I didn't see this. Okay, so the misunderstanding has been resolved. And we have the auth module in the front end working. Okay, so today we implemented the back end and the front end of the auth module. We will test this tomorrow or on the next episode and make it work properly if there is any errors or anything. And I hope I see you next time.